I must say that I've been thinking for the last few minutes that we have been getting rather too philosophical. Meditation, yes, is necessary. Raising the level of consciousness is necessary. We should all try to do that. But as I mentioned in my talk yesterday, we also need what Sogyal Rinpoche in his talk called a more helpful environment. So it isn't necessary only to change our mind or to raise our level of consciousness or to meditate. We also have to try to initiate at least some degree of social change through the creation of institutions and ways of life and lifestyles which are conducive to the practice of the Dharma and to the experience of peace and metta. As regards the FWBO, we do have a little experience of this, especially in India. Perhaps I can be a little bit autobiographical here. By nature, when I was a young man, I was very studious. I liked books. I liked meditation. I liked solitary life. I didn't like social life. I didn't like receptions. And I used to like to lock myself up in my room, just reading books, especially Buddhist books, and meditating. And of course, for many years I stayed up in Kalimpong in the eastern Himalayas, where Lama Govinda came to see me once, and I was just absorbed in my studies, meditations, writing, as a Buddhist monk. But then one day, I won't tell you the details, I came into contact with the Indian ex-untouchables. And they lived in very, very wretched conditions. They were right at the bottom of the social heap, and they were discriminated against and persecuted and treated systematically by caste Hindus as just less than human. And they had a great leader called Dr. Ambedkar. And Dr. Ambedkar decided that there was no hope, no future for his untouchable followers in Hinduism with its caste system, and he led them all into Buddhism. 6 weeks later, 6 weeks after he and 4 million others had become Buddhists, he died. And I was one of those who were left to try to carry on the work. So I came out of my scholarly conclusion, my scholarly seclusion, and I spent a lot of time working among these people who were living really in very, very pitiable conditions. You can't imagine. Even in the former East Germany or East Berlin, you cannot imagine the poverty and degradation of those people. But they had embraced Buddhism, at least in theory. So I spent a lot of time going around among them, teaching the Dharma, teaching very, very simple things. I didn't say anything about shunyata. I didn't even say anything about karuna. I spoke about 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and that was quite enough for the time being. I wasn't able to do much more than that. They needed much more. But then I came to the West, and eventually some of my disciples started up the Karuna Trust. And as a result, we conduct now in India Dharma activities for these ex-untouchable Buddhists, mainly in Western and Central India, in about 100 different places. We have some quite large centers and viharas, and we have 8 or 10 or more quite large hostels for boys and girls, and there's also educational activities and so on. I won't venture to claim that this is a manifestation of compassion. Perhaps it is a little bit. No doubt there is a mixture of pity, but at least objectively it is very helpful. And I feel that Buddhists, Western Buddhists, in the comparatively affluent West, should perhaps do a little more for our more unfortunate Buddhist brothers and sisters, especially among the ex-untouchable Buddhists of India.